Despite a few wet days this week, Colorado is still struggling with drought. Southern and southwestern Colorado are seeing the driest condition. These maps show conditions Thursday compared to the start of the year. More than 90% of the state was considered dry or seeing moderate drought back then. Extreme and exceptional drought conditions, that's the dark red, that's the dark and bright red on this map, can now be seen. So southern Colorado hasn't gotten much better.
Yeah, those dry conditions are reflected in earlier than usual openings of some of the state's most popular scenic drives, too. Because of average to below average snowpack, CDOT crews were able to start plowing Trail Ridge Road in mid-April.
Trail Ridge opened earlier than expected on Thursday, and today Mount Evans Highway is going to be opening up to traffic as well. Good morning. Happy Friday. Yay. We got the whole gang here. I'm Christine along with Corey, Gary, Marty also in the house this morning. Marty, good morning. Okay, so big weekend plan for a lot of folks. Memorial Day weekend. A lot of outdoor activities going on.
And if folks aren't ready for this heat, and it's going to be hot, not warm, it's going to be hot. Got a lot of places to go now. We can go up to the top of Mount Evans. We can go over Trail Ridge. We can go over Independence Pass. Get up there and get some natural air conditioning.
Today marks 1 week since 8 students and 2 teachers were gunned down at Santa Fe High School in Texas. It happened during first period. Witnesses say the 17-year-old suspected shooter targeted an art classroom first. Shayna Fisher's mother says she may have been the main target in that classroom after being harassed by the shooter for months. Her family will have a visitation for her today. Kyle McLeod, Christian Riley Garcia and Cynthia Tisdale will also have visitations today. The Houston Rockets held a moment of silence for Santa Fe High ahead of last night's game against the Warriors. The Santa Fe High School choir performed the national anthem. School administrators, first responders, and more than 300 seniors in attendance were recognized. Each player also wore a special Santa Fe patch on their left shoulder.
The governor of Texas has heard from survivors of the Santa Fe High shooting and survivors of other shootings in his state. There is still little expectation those emotional pleas will change gun access laws in the state. Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott, lawmakers and school leaders wrapped up a 3-day series of roundtables of school safety on Thursday. Several students spoke face-to-face with leaders. A teacher and a mother of a student who survived another school shooting urged tracking student mental health.
We know when we have taught for 20 years the difference between a child that is having normal, sad, bad days versus a child that comes to school every single day, upset, no friends, writing things in notebooks. Teachers see that, and nobody asks the teachers.
Governor Abbott appeared to embrace the tracking idea and boosting security.
Students in Colorado will recognize the students in Santa Fe, Texas this weekend. They will hold a vigil on the west steps of the state capitol in Denver on Saturday. It is organized by the group Never Again Colorado. Their goal is to stop school shootings here and everywhere. The organization says they will honor the lives of those lost and will continue to push until they can truly say never again. Saturday's vigil starts at 7 in the evening. There are so many ways to offer support for the families in Texas, including words of encouragement and support. We have been asking students to come together and send messages of hope and unity and letters to Santa Fe. You can email us the letters so that we can send them on to Texas. The email is mornings@9news.com. Together, we can let Texas know that we stand with them.
The man convicted of killing his child's mother will be sentenced today. A Boulder jury found Adam Densmore guilty last month. Densmore killed Ashley Mead and dismembered her body. Part of her body was found in Oklahoma. Most of her remains, though, have never been found. Mead was the mother of Densmore's 1-year-old child.
Adam Hyatt will be sentenced later this summer for leaving pipe bombs in his hotel room in Denver. He pleaded guilty on Thursday. Last February, Denver police found about a half-dozen pipe bombs in a room at the Sheraton downtown Denver. Hyatt was caught in Los Angeles. A judge is going to sentence him in August.
The local Sikh community is celebrating inclusion today. The State Board of Education has recommended including Sikhism when teaching the world's major religions and social studies. The community says they hope it will stop bullying as well as harassment.
We are the citizens of the United States of America, and we belong here. Our kids have been born here, but they are not being treated the same.
The FBI added anti-Sikh hate crimes as its own category back in 2015. It will be up to the individual school districts if they want to change their curriculum. They have 2 years to consider any changes. The Sikh community is already doing some outreach.
He kneeled for half of the 2016 season and one game last year. Now Brandon Marshall is responding to the new NFL policy that fines teams if it happens next season. He says he's more concerned about the president saying players who protest perhaps shouldn't be in the country.
To me, it's disgusting. You know, I say it's disgusting because of our amendment rights, you know, our First Amendment rights. We have freedom of speech, right? Freedom of protest. So because somebody decides to protest something, now we have to be kicked out the country. If I didn't stand for the anthem, that means, or if I don't like what's going on, right? That's basically him saying I should be, you know, kicked out the country. But we're supposed to have conversations about things, talk about things, work things through.
Broncos cornerback Chris Harris Jr. says the issue is largely forgotten among players. He says he hopes journalists don't keep score on who stays in the locker room.
Thousands of headstones at Arlington National Cemetery will have their Memorial Day flags today. 1,000 soldiers from the 3rd Infantry Regiment took 4 hours placing each of them on Thursday. There are 228,000 headstones at Arlington. The tradition happens every year to honor fallen military members for Memorial Day. We will see a similar tradition play out in Colorado on Memorial Day. Volunteers will set out that morning to honor fallen service members at Fort Logan National Cemetery. This is their 2nd year doing the event in Denver. They were able to cover a few hundred headstones last year. This year, they're hoping to cover more than 1,000. Eventually, they'd like to get enough people involved to cover all of the headstones. There are more than 120,000 at Fort Logan. Colorado's largest Memorial Day parade kicks off at 10 a.m. Monday. That'll be in Commerce City. The 1.5-mile track will start off with a ceremony just after 9 at Veterans Memorial Park. The family-friendly annual Memorial Day parade honors veterans for their service to this country. This year's event will feature more than 80 military units, bands, floats, antique cars, and horse entries.
North Korea makes good on vows to dismantle its nuclear test site, but a summit with the U.S. will likely not be happening after harsh words from some leaders there. Plus, weeks after the first signs of eruptions, geologists say they're not seeing any signs of slowdowns from Mount Kilauea. And one of basketball's biggest stars inspires the next generation of girls in sport.
Sure, it's a little quirky, just like the original couple that owned it.
Clap your hands and make this sign to prove that you watch Channel 9.
We are getting a peek inside the home of Denver's very first television stars. We'll be right back.
All right, after nearly 30 years after the Jumpman inspired future NBA stars all over the country, the revamped version of this ad is doing the same thing. Now little girls are spreading their wings too, thanks to this billboard showing them they can.
When it comes to the thermostat at work, things can get a little heated between colleagues. A new Career Builder survey shows 46% of workers say their office is either too hot or too cold. That can have an impact on productivity. 51% of workers say an ice cold office impacts their productivity. 67% say a hot office does the same thing. 15% of people admit that they've argued over it. Almost 20% say that they have secretly changed the thermostat. And I think that we probably would secretly change it too if we could. Yeah. But we cannot. There's like a lockbox over that thing. So we want to know where you stand on this critical issue this morning. Join in on our poll, 9news.com/vote now. We'll be talking about the results coming up at 5:30 this morning. That's going to do it for us at 4:30. We have more coming up at 5 a.m.